All right, hello guys. Typical night at the shack, back on the grind. Trying to get caught up. I hope the audio works. I'm having to use a mic because I'm not at my table tonight. Kind of over here across the room. So let me know how it's working. I can turn it up if I need to, but hopefully it's loud enough. How are y'all doing tonight? Trying to get these stove covers out of here. These things been laying in here for like a week now. All boarded up, ready to go, but I got these going. I got 3 machines running. I got the longer B1 over there cranking out Maymay's projects. I got the Acer over there cranking out Maymay's projects, and I got the X-Tool S1 cranking out Maymay's projects. So I'm having to bounce from one responsibility to the other to try to get everything done tonight, because I'm trying to get some of this stuff out of here. I got some videos I need to be doing, and all these jobs is getting in the way. So that's what we're doing tonight, trying to get caught up. I figured while I'm out here not doing nothing again, other than just you know, working, I might bring you guys along and just see what everybody's doing. Is anybody else in the shop, or am I the only one tonight? The rest of y'all enjoying yourself inside and watching some television or something? What's up? How's the audio, guys? Jack, you're usually pretty good about telling me how my audio is. Is it good enough? I know I got some background noise probably. Or somebody let me know if y'all can even hear me, or am I just moving my lips on the video? Okay, thank you, Jack. Appreciate that, man. I had to kind of throw it together using my mic. I usually use this mic with the cameras, but since I was on the move tonight, I plugged it up to the computer so I could use it for this stuff. I had to make a few adjustments. I grabbed a couple of quick little clips of video to see if I could hear it. Appreciate you, appreciate you. I hope not. I mean, I'm using my usual camera. I can swap y'all over to the other one, but I don't want to get my Stream Deck stained. I kind of like it the color it is. So I'll try to avoid touching anything. I've got my TV up here spun around and got y'all on it so I can see what you're saying. Doing Rotary projects tomorrow, Hobo? Are you going to do the typical tumblers, or are you going to put a spin on it? Hey, Brad, cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But people ask me all the time how I make money with a diode. This is how you do it. You do other stuff while the diodes are working. That way you don't have to worry about whether they're slow or not. Now, I will say there was a time the other day I was wishing I had something a little faster, but like tonight, I've got stuff to keep me busy. I'm gonna have to deglove to go swap these machines out, so it may slow me down a little bit getting the machine work done, but these things have got to get out of here. I got a company that's been waiting for these since before I got hurt, so. Glass and bamboo. Well, that's cool. Well, guys, there you go. If you want to see some glass and bamboo, y'all can go check out Hobo tomorrow night. Is it just going to be you, Hobo, or is it going to be the trio that y'all usually do? You and Rich and I can't remember the other guy's name. I can't remember the other guy's name. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Sweet. Yeah, I don't have a plasma, so there won't be any plasma jobs here at the shack. That would be cool if I had one, but I don't, so there we are. But yeah, I was going to do these the other night when I was doing the live, but I ran out of rags. So had to get some more rags. What's everybody else up to? Nobody else working? Y'all all taking off tonight? Just hanging out? All right. Sit that over there, let it dry. Somebody forgot to start the longer a while ago. I wonder who did that. Find my mouse. That's the only thing when you're running so many monitors, you got to figure out exactly where your mouse is hiding. Patrick, that's his name. I don't know why I won't keep wanting to call him Matt. But yeah, I might have to tune in and see what y'all doing over there tomorrow night if I ain't too busy out here. A lot of times I'm busy, but if nothing else, I'll try to throw y'all up on that TV right there and watch you while I work. Well, hello, Woodland Vester. I don't know where that's at exactly. Is that I'm assuming is that a city or a state or a county? Or is it somewhere over yonder? Well, good luck on your market up there in Illinois. There, Ulrich. Is it your? I'm well, you told me. I think you told me it wasn't your first one. I think we discussed that the other night. But yeah. Well, good luck with it. Maybe you'll sell so much stuff that you can come back and buy you something nice. That's always the hope, right? You sell enough to come back and buy some more tools with. Well, hello, Alex. How are you? But yeah, tonight is stain. I got to do stain on these and get them ready to finish them out. But hopefully I'll be able to finish them tomorrow after they've had a chance to dry. And get these things delivered tomorrow afternoon, I hope. That's the plan. So that my business doesn't have to continue to wait on me. They've been pretty patient with me because they knew I had a medical problem with my back. Woodland, Alabama, okay. Yeah, well that's not far from, well, I don't know. That's not far from here as some of these guys are, but yeah. Norway. Whew. Yeah, that's a long way. See, Woodland, Alabama is nowhere near as far as Norway. I can assure you of that. But yeah, it's good weather we're having here in Alabama though. It's cool at night and but not hot during the day. This is about the only time of the year we get this, and maybe early spring. Hello, Bill from Northeast PA. Welcome to the channel. If you've never been here, you never know what you're going to get to see when you log in, guys. Tonight I am staining stove covers, and I've got 3 lasers working on projects. So, and that is how I maximize my profits, guys, is I put the lasers to work and I just stay here and babysit them while I'm doing other things. So basically I'm making money off of that machine, that machine, that machine, and what I'm doing here. So when people say you can't make money with diodes, they don't know how to do it. Well, I wouldn't say daily, Alex. Some jobs will not fit in it, and that's one of my only gripes with the machine so far is I wish they'd gave me a little more work area. But like right now, I'm running a job in the S2, and but I had to, instead of running all 3 cuts for the file, I'm having to run 2 of the cuts, and then like every 3rd cut, I had to swap over and cut 2 of the the third cut. So, but yeah, it's fast. And if I'd have thought about it when I designed the file, I might could have shrunk it down just a little and made it work, but I like the size of it. But the good news is I've got a bunch of small pieces of material, so it's not that big a deal because those small pieces of material fit the S2 and the longer really well. Now the longer could actually handle cutting the whole file, but I'm using up those little pieces of wood that I cut off of the big sheets when I break them down. 50 centimeter snow cap. Yeah, we'll be lucky if we see any snow this year. They're claiming we might this year because it's going to be something with the atmospheric conditions and the jet stream and all that, but I'll have to see it to believe it. My kids and my wife would love to have a white Christmas, but we never have that. We're usually wearing t-shirts at Christmas and Thanksgiving. Yeah, if you're going to be doing a lot of clear acrylic, I had a spill here. If you're going to be doing a lot of clear acrylic, you may want to look at getting a CO2 of some type. And if you got the S1, I mean, that would be a good one to go with it. But there's the diode laser for you guys. 8 of these. That's how many of them I made. What are we talking about, my arm? Yeah, apparently I am staining my arm. At least I'm not getting it all over my shirt. I did wear my old pants that already have stain on them because it never fails. If I wear nice, clean pants out here, they end up with glue spots or stain on them. But, yeah. Yeah, Dale, that's kind of, I mean, we get a little bit of snow, but it's not like anything like what Steve talks about, going out there and having to shovel it. You would have a hard time scraping up a shovelful when it snows here. You'd have to like find somewhere on the porch or somewhere where it was blowing up against the wall. But if it does snow, you can bet I'm going to make a little short video of it and send it to Steve because he says we don't get snow, which we really don't, but if we do, I'll send it to Steve. Photo of me and my wife in a mirror when we create. You can look in the, if you'll watch that video I did with the We Create, when it gets to the part where I did the power and speed test, if you'll pause it, you can save yourself some time and kind of cheat off of that. You know, mirrors can vary, but from my experience, most mirrors are really forgiving. And as long as you're close with the setting and you're just trying to clean the glass, it'll work. So just go to my We Create my mirror video, and I'm fixing to do another mirror video, guys, because I've got some 10-inch mirrors coming. Because my X2 S1 folks got a little angry that my file was too big to be cut on the S1, and I didn't even think about it. So I found some 10-inch mirrors, and I'm going to take that file and resize it to work with a 12 or a 10-inch mirror, and I'm just going to add it to the download in case somebody bought it that had a S1 and they can't do the 12-inch mirrors. They can go get them, and I found them on Amazon, so that makes it that much easier. So I'm going to add a 10-inch mirror file to the folder on my Etsy shop. So kind of help everybody out. Lots of marks. And it also may actually make it small enough to be able to cut the frame on the We Create. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to double check, but I think it may. Yeah. Yeah, if you're in Tampa, you probably don't have much snowdrift down there right now. I don't think you'll ever have a snowdrift in Tampa. These guys that have all this snow, it's a little hard for me to wrap my head around too. But yeah, it's I think it's probably like 72 or 73 outside right now. It feels pretty good out there. Nowhere near what it is in some places. So what are you working on, Steve? You playing with your new toy? Or are you chilling? Steve's probably just chilling. What's up, Jim? How are you, sir? Y'all gonna make me start babbling if nobody comments about anything. Then people are gonna accuse me of talking too much. I've been getting a lot of comments this week from people. I don't know if I got a troll that's got like multiple IDs or what, but it seems like every video they're like, nice long video without actually making a point. And my thing is if you watched one video and you didn't like it, what are you doing watching the second one? So quit commenting on all my videos. Yeah, Jim. I can imagine. I don't know that I'd want to work offshore for 40 years. That just, I mean, that sounds like it'd be cool for the first few months, but look at that, guys. Whoop, whoop. All right, I got to check the machines. It looks like everybody got finished, so let me take these gloves off while I got them halfway clean. Look at that. Steve's talking about me staining myself, and I did it. I might as well bring a bunch of rags over here. This is going to be messy tonight. We'll have to break out the mineral spirits before it's over with. All right, I got to swap these machines. Give me a second. I managed to get like 28 of them done the other night, so I'm about a third of the way there as far as the cutout goes, but I still got to put them all together once I get done. Same thing I was the other night, except I'm also staining stove covers. So it's a busy night. All right, I got the H'er back going. Well, if I can get my mouse over here. H'er's back going. like I said, the X tool, one feature I do like is this little button on the front. You just push the button and it's off to the races again. I do like that feature. I'm gonna run one more sets of bottoms on that one. So both machines are back going. All right, let me catch up on what I might have missed. Yeah, Jim, actually the back's feeling pretty good. If I step wrong, it reminds me that I'm not 100% yet. So I try not to step wrong if I can help it. And I can't pick up a whole lot. I still have to call my wife to pick things up for me, which is irritating, but that's what the doctor told me to do, so that's what I'm doing. But yeah, it is actually coming along quite well. I'm gonna throw those two in the garbage. It's actually, I'm very optimistic that I may actually make a full recovery. I'm hoping that once it gets cooler, I'll actually be able to get up on the sawmill and be able to make you guys, show you some sawmill footage. Those of you that are interested, some of you may not be. But I haven't been able to make a sawmill video in a long time. One, in the beginning, because my back was bothering me and I didn't want to do it because I was afraid I'd hurt it worse. And then after, of course, around the time of surgery, I could hardly walk. And now I've got to wait a month or two before I do any heavy lifting, so. Well, there's a few machines out there, Ralph, and I may have another one coming that's a good candidate, but the thing that you got to remember when you go out in public, whatever you go with, you need to be able to ensure everybody around you's safety as well as your own, as far as, you know, keeping the laser concealed. The WeCreate wouldn't be a bad machine for that, if that's what you're asking. I actually considered taking it to an event here recently, but the reason I didn't is because most of my files and my jigs and everything are light burn files, and I didn't have enough prep time to have a good enough catalog on the WeCreate to carry it to the event. But it actually would be good for stuff like that because the camera's fairly accurate on it. It's, like I said, it's fully contained, and, you know, other than the smoke issue, you'd have to make sure if you don't have a smoke filter or something, you'd have to, you know, you'd have that. But other than that, it wouldn't be a bad machine for that. I had to build my own custom enclosure for my X tool, which is what I'm still using. What did I miss? I missed something, and I can't back up. What's up, Maker? Minnesota Maker, how are you? But yeah, it's there's a lot of machines out there, and I've got another one in the shop now that they're supposed to be sending me an enclosure for. It's an Autostack, a little smaller 24-watt machine, and I think it would actually do a good job for stuff like that and still be light burn compatible. But I haven't got all the peripherals for it yet. I'm still waiting on the air assist and some other stuff to come in before I do the review on it, so I can test it with the stuff that comes with it. But I don't like going all in on any laser company, guys, because people will beat you up if you tell them this is the best laser and they buy it. Again, and it's a bad one. Even though no matter what kind you buy, you could get a bad one. I just try to share my experiences with the different machines and go from there. And if I get all these things stained tonight, I have been contacted because one of you guys, I don't know who did it, but one of you guys apparently reached out to Algo Laser for me and told them my machine went down. And they reached out to me, asked me what the problem was, and I told them that it wasn't a big thing because I hadn't had a chance to get in touch with them. But they have sent me I guess a more intense way of updating the firmware for the machine, and I'm going to try that, but I haven't got around to it yet. But I'm going to try to make a video of it in case anybody else has the problem. I'll be able to share the resources, the links and everything, and where to get the files, if Algo doesn't mind, and show guys how to fix it when it does that. So that's my plan. What y'all talking about a pimp hat for? Who's got a hat? Woo. Aha, one more done. Well, Thad, apparently it did help because I had them messaging me this morning before I ever ate lunch while I was at work. They were messaging me and emailing me. So apparently it worked. They reached out promptly. And then when I told them what the problem was, and I told them I suspect the firmware went out, and it could be that I held the button down too long. I can't say for sure. I really don't like that whole hold the button down to enter firmware thing. I wish there was a safety switch somewhere. But, you know, if I've had the machine for a really long time and I haven't done it yet, so I mean, I don't know that that's what caused it, but it very well could be. Because I was talking and doing something and held the button down, and apparently I held it down too long and it went into firmware mode on me. And there's a chance that that could have corrupted it. And they apparently agreed with me because they sent me their firmware updater software to use to try to fix it with. And I could not find it anywhere on any website. I couldn't find any videos about how to do it other than the simple upgrade that they offer. So if it works, I plan on sharing it. Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, sometimes the companies aren't a fan of honesty, but I'm never going to just trash a machine because, in my opinion, every laser I've tried out in this shop had something that it was good at. And if you had a specific set of circumstances, it would do you a good job. But there is no such thing, to me, that I've found yet, as one laser that can do everything. It's just not diodes anyway. Maybe there is in the commercial world. But that's why I like having multiple machines. Because some of them are good at some things and some of them are good at others. And if you play the right players, just like building a football team, you know, you don't want everybody built like a nose tackle. You got to have somebody built like a running back. So. Well, Thad, shoot me an email address to your, and I'll share it with you since you're the one that got it for me. Send me an email at clack@theclackshack.com and let me know who you are and what you need, and I'll forward you the information they sent me. Or after I test it and do the video, I can send you the link to show you exactly how to walk through the process. And I actually may do that here in a little bit. I've got 3 more of these to stain. And once I do that, I'm probably going to kind of sit down and chill. Yeah. Well, I try not to just roast them. There has been one machine that I've got to do a review on that I'm having a really hard time with in my shop. But I've got to also learn that just because a machine doesn't really fit in my workflow and the way I do things doesn't mean that it won't fit for somebody else. So I try to keep that in mind when I'm doing these videos. And just because, like I said, just because in my shop it's not really that useful, your situation could be different and it might be the best thing you've ever gotten. So, you know, I have to kind of keep that in mind as well. Yes, I'm a firm believer in early American, and it's Minwax, early American, and I buy it by the gallon because I go through it, as you can see. So I have other colors, but I have the smaller size because I don't use as much of it. But the company that I do these for, when I went to prototyping them out, I took a piece of pine wood and basically went over it with every color I had and let them pick which color of stain they wanted me to use. And this is what we come up with. So I tried some other colors in the beginning, and they didn't like it. But Early American won the nomination from the company, and that's what I've been going with. And this is like, so far this year, I think this is my 3rd gallon I've went through this year. Now, and I'm pretty sure it's not water-based because it'll eat the latex gloves off of you. Yeah, fairly confident. It's oil-based. Yeah, I thought it was. If you wear latex gloves with it and do this, it will literally dissolve the latex gloves off your hands. So I knew it had to have lacquer thinner, something in it. But yeah, but no, it's not water-based. But yeah. All right, Grandpa, you have a good one. I'm gonna be out here working for a while longer. What time is it? 6 o'clock? Yeah, I'm gonna be out here for a while. I'm usually out here till about 10 o'clock at night, especially on a Friday. I might try to go in a little early tonight if I make good progress. We'll see. I was able to get almost 30 of these laser projects cut out the other day. Now, I haven't put them together yet, but if I can just get them cut out, I'm going to sit down, and Brandy has offered to come out and help me kind of set up an assembly line and put them together. So we'll probably end up doing that. And like I said, I would show y'all what I'm doing, but it's classified right now. But when it gets released, guys, I promise you I'll share the video so you can see what the product is and put an end to the suspense. But I can't show you right now. And see, people tell me I should exercise more. They don't see all the staining and stuff I do. It's actually pretty decent exercise when you're trying to do it fast. Y'all go to sleep on me? All right, guys, it's just awkward me sitting here staining and nobody saying nothing. Well, hello, Robert. Appreciate you. Glad you enjoy them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I call this a staining lesson. Staining is fairly simple. Now, I will tell you this: when you have those, like when you have your engrave and you want to make it darker, if you'll squeeze a rag around it like that and kind of make a puddle, and then wipe it over the engrave, it lets the stain get down in that recess. And when you wipe it off with a dry rag, you just try to stay flat so as to not drag it out of there, and it'll actually make the engrave a little darker. And I squeezed way too much out of my rag. Well, Terry, typically $125 for a personalized stove cover. If it's a generic, like if it's one that I've already made and I'm just trying to move it, I'll go to 100. This company that I sell them to, I get 100 because they get a little better deal than most everybody, because I have two designs, which one of them is this Home Sweet Home design, which is my generic design. And the other one is a generic design. I just changed the name in the center of it. So we negotiated early on that they would give me $100 no matter which one it was, whether it was a home sweet home or whether it was a specific name, but that I used those two designs. And the designs are exactly the same. One just says home sweet home in the center, and the other one has their name. Now I do have two different files for it, so it makes it a little easier on my end when I'm burning them. But the design is more or less the same. Man, I am burning through some rags. That I don't know. You can, I think you can. I haven't tried it. I have to look, make sure. But I'm pretty sure you can import an SVG file if you have a Lightburn files you want to move over. Because I did do my logo that way. Because I wanted to do my logo on the WeCreate. So what I did is I went into Lightburn, saved it as an SVG, and then brought it into the WeCreate software. It's kind of like XCS. XCS is the same way. You have to export it as an SVG and then import it into the native software for the machine. But you can take graphics that you've built in Lightburn and move them over. Doing it that way. Well, from what I'm not going to try to explain to you how the machine, Jody, on the Acer L2, I'm not going to try to explain to you how the machine knows exactly, but I will tell you this. From what I can tell, when you hit the autofocus button, all that really does is sets the Z-axis. Now, in the process of setting the location for the Z-axis, it clears the X and Y data. And so basically the machine forgets where it was at. But once you rehome it, then you reset the 0, 0 on the X and Y, but it still maintains the Z-axis. And it's a simple software fix, I believe, but I don't even know if they've done it yet or not because my L2 bit the dirt on me. I'm pretty sure it had a firmware issue, but I haven't gotten any way to update it from Acer. I sent them an email and they just replaced my machine with a V35 instead of having me fix it. So I don't know. I'm hoping one day I can get my hands on the firmware updating software and update it and see if I can get it back going. But until then, it's just kind of hanging out over there. I'm going to turn the air conditioner on, guys. It's getting hot in here. Yeah, there you go, Steve. That's that's one way to explain it. But yeah, when you hit the Z-axis 0 on the L2, all it does is it comes down until it hits the top of the material. There's a little tiny limit switch on the bottom of that module. And when it does, it says, okay, here's the material. It's at this height. And that's what it uses to set the Z-axis. But in the process, it forgets where it's at on the X and Y. So you have to rehome it after you do that to make sure it doesn't hit the rails. Now, once you home it, it'll work fine. And if you change materials and you have to reset the Z, then you have to home it again. And once you get used to doing that, it's really not that big of a deal. I had actually gotten used to it and was enjoying the machine, and then mine just had an issue one night and hadn't worked since. And I've tried fixing it on my own a couple of times, but without the firmware being updated, I gave up. Well, Terry, the S1, like I said, as long as the workspace is to your liking, it's a good machine. Matter of fact, my longer is done, the X tool's still running, and the 8s are still running on their jobs. But I'm running my S1, my longer B1, and my 8s V35 tonight on these jobs. No, I wouldn't put the board at the home spot. No, I would put the board in the middle of my workspace, and I would use my navigational keys to navigate it out to where the material is. Hit the autofocus button, let it autofocus, and then home the machine. Because if you try to put your material where home is, and you run any kind of speed, it's not gonna let you run that burn because it's gonna tell you it's too close to the corners it's gonna hit. Light burn will pull up and tell you basically there's not enough room to run that speed. Either decrease the speed or move your graphic. And I know that from experience. It will do it. So you're going to just get in a habit after you hit the autofocus, hit home. That way you don't have to worry about it hitting the rails. That was what I was doing, and it was working really well for me. The S1, in most perspectives, in my opinion, yes, it is an upgrade from the D1 because you get more power, more speed. It's an enclosed machine. The work area is wider. If they'd have made the work area just as tall, I'd have been a lot happier. But as long as that workspace restriction is good for you, it's not a bad machine. Like I said, I like using it when the material will fit or my work job will fit inside it. And the We Create, yeah, I like the We Create too. It's sitting over there, but like tonight, these files are just a little big, and I'm running 30 watt and 40 watt machines on it to make a little bit quicker. And I've only got one extra vent to be able to vent my machines. And the X-Tool S1 is currently using that vent port, so I couldn't vent another machine if I wanted to. Yeah. I do enjoy fixing things. I grew up, my dad was a mechanic, so I grew up in a mechanic shop, working on cars, lawnmowers and stuff like that. And when I was in high school, I was actually on the FFA, which is like the Future Farmers of America or whatever. We had a small engine repair team that went, and we would actually go to events. They would have like a 5 horsepower, 8 horsepower Briggs & Stratton. They would basically have all the parts strewn across the table, and you would stand at your table, have all your tools and stuff ready, and they would basically tell you to go, and it was a race to see who could crank their Briggs & Stratton engine first. And I enjoyed stuff like that. I used to like take go-karts and stuff like that, and I'd take them apart, advance the timing a little bit, tune the carburetor a little bit, and I would make those things scream. But that's kind of how I grew up. And then as I got older, you know, my dad, he'd be working on the cars. People would bring their weed eaters, chainsaws, and lawnmowers over to be worked on. And I had me a little table in the back. And I was literally 13, 14 years old and working on weed eaters, lawnmowers, whatever. I also did brake jobs and any kind of electrical stuff. Because when I worked in the shop with my dad, a lot of people's cars still had 8-track players in them. And so they would come in and be like, hey, I got this car and I really want a cassette tape player in it. Is that something y'all could do? And so I would, go to the parts house. Back then you didn't have internet, so I'd go to the parts house and I would order the parts for it to be able to put a cassette deck player in it and take the 8-track out. Or either they would blow their speakers up and need new speakers and stuff like that. So I spent my childhood in a shop working on stuff. And I guess, after doing law enforcement for 20-ish years and kind of piddling out here in my shop, then I got into woodworking and lasers, and I guess it kind of rekindled some of that stuff I did when I was younger, because I really enjoy it. This is my therapy, guys. My happy place. So don't ever come in my happy place trying to bring drama. I don't allow drama here. This is a drama-free zone. Yeah, Chrysler had those teams too. Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I had a couple of ag teachers that got me into it. Of course, with my dad's mechanic background, I was kind of a no-brainer. And me being, pretty decent with mechanical stuff. Well, E.T., I appreciate you, and I'm sure everybody else does. That's most everybody, and I say most everybody because I don't know all of them, but I know a lot of the guys that I socialize with that have channels really do enjoy just helping people learn and helping people. What in the world is that? I done got to the bottom of the barrel, guys. The red's puddled up in the bottom of my barrel here. Oh, that's no good. Can't dip quite so deep. The red has separated to the bottom. Whew. This is the last one, thank goodness. Time to go to the store. Oh, that's terrible. Luckily, it was a small streak, and it's the last one. Don't dip too deep. Well, you can spray them with poly. I don't like to do paint on poly on these things because it tends to look a little shiny and not rustic enough. Anything that you use, I would use satin. I wouldn't use gloss. The whole idea of these things is they're supposed to look rustic. And the first few I did, I actually tried to make them look like they had glass on them, and I sanding them down to 220 grit and all that, and I was told that they weren't rustic enough by the customer. They wanted them rustic, and which is good because you know what rustic means. It means it has imperfections. So it doesn't put as much pressure on you if you accidentally get a little spot or something on it. It's no big deal. It just adds to the character. That can is going in the garbage because it is starting to separate on the bottom. What's up, Super Duty? How are you, fella? You out in the Super Duty traveling today? That guy's living the dream, guys. He travels the world in a camper that has a workshop built into it. I mean, how nice is that? How big is the work area of my longer? The longer is, I'm wanting to say, don't quote me, I'd have to go look it up. I'm wanting to say it's around 450 by 450. It's a little wider than the Acer V35. And I did find out the other day, and I'm kind of curious about this, Longer actually makes a 40-watt machine, and they also make an extension kit for the B1. So if they would send me If I get my hands on a 40 watt, I like my 30, and I've thought about just ordering the extension kit, putting it on the 30 and seeing what it'll do. The only problem is I'm still happy with the performance of my Acer, and I don't have another big enclosure to put it in. So I don't want to extend it because right now I use it for small jobs and stuff like that that don't require a large work area. So, but in the event that I was to get my hands on a 40 watt, I would be tempted to extend it and put it in my big enclosure. But in order for me to replace the Acer V35, it's going to have to be a more powerful machine that is capable of the same stuff the V35 is. So, and if I get my hands on a 40 watt longer, that may become true. I honestly think, and I can't say because I haven't really put them against each other, but I honestly think the longer might actually be a touch better at cutting than the V35. Like maybe it's got just a little more power on the V35. But yeah, it's a good machine. I like it. It's got automatic air assist. The only thing it doesn't have is a Power Z, and I mean, Power Z is cool, it's fun, but it's not a requirement for the jobs that I do. And yes, guys, I'm stingy. I try to recycle my nitrile gloves when I can. So these are not going in the garbage. These are actually going over here on a shelf so I can let the sweat dry out of them. I got cats walking by. And this will be used as fire starter because it's starting to separate in the bottom. So I will not use this no more. It'll go over here by my burn stuff. Put all this away. All right. So it looks like the longer and the X tool are done again. Probably have been for a while. No, the X tool is not quite done yet. It was just up there where I couldn't see it moving. Whew. All right. How does what do on engraving? The longer? It does. It does good on engraving. I've got a video that I did on the longer B1 when I first got it, and I think I got a couple of project videos I did with it as well because I ran it in my enclosure for a while. Then I got the Alpha from Algo Laser, and I swapped it out for a little while. Ran the Algo, and then when the Algo had an issue the other day, I put the longer back in there. Because it's, like I said, it's the largest work area machine that I've got that'll fit in there. And it's a 30 watt. And I wanted a 30 watt in there for this big cutting job. My enclosure is kind of where I can just basically lift the machine out and swap them if I want to. So that's what I do. If I need a machine that's really fast at engraving, I can swap it for a machine that's fast at engraving. If I need one that's good at cutting, I swap it out for a machine that's good at cutting. So now, I guess since I'm caught up on all of that, guys, we could actually work on the Algo and see if we can get it working. Clean my table up a little bit here. All right. Whew. All right. Well, the Acer is a lot wider. It's just 430, but they go in there. I think I got a video on that too. But give me just a minute, guys. Let me take these rags out there and put them on my burn pile. I'll be right back. All right, let me get things where I can sit over here now. Well, actually, I think I want to try to fix that machine. Let's do that. Oh, let me pull up my email right here and see exactly what they sent me to use to try to fix this thing. Algo laser. Okay, here we go. Let me download everything so I don't have to show you guys the email, because they might not want me sharing their email addresses. Give me just a second. Turn that monitor off. We're going to come back over here. Okay, just make sure I didn't miss anything on the comments. For some reason, I'm hearing myself. Let me see if I can turn these speakers down. 450 by 440. Yeah, that's... Steve says the longer is 450 by 440, but it is, like I said, it is bigger than most lasers. All right, so let me get my instructions up here, so that way we can walk through this little process here. But I've got to go get the machine and connect it as well. So. Let me go grab the algo, guys. We're going to try to see if we can fix this thing right quick. Oh, wrong cable. All right, let me look at my email and see what the steps are, and we're fixing to get this thing started here and see if we can get it working. Y'all be the first ones to know if this works or not. So we'll go ahead and extract all these files and everything, get ready. All right, so I can close that one. All right, so here we go. All right, on the computer, guys, because this process, step one is to download the tool and unzip it, which I have done. I've got the tool downloaded and unzipped right here. Step two, run the Flash tool, double click and run this file. And of course, I knew my software was going to block it. All right, so this, okay, it says, what am I supposed to do here? Hang on, come back. I got way too many darn monitors going. All right, so select ESP32-S3 development and UART. Okay. All right, so I've got that done. And on the tool, replicate what? Hang on. Replicate this setting. Okay, so I'm not sure where they put the files, but it's basically telling me I've got to recreate these folders. Okay, this is ESP32S3, ESP32S3. Okay. Not seeing anything in here. Okay. All right. Let me make sure I got everything set the way it's supposed to be. It says go to DIO. All right. This I feel like I'm missing a setting somewhere. I'm missing something. It didn't tell me to put the machine into plug in the computer, press and hold the button and tap. Okay, so I've got to set these settings before I do that. Not sure where I get this file. Let me go back and look at my file here. There's nothing in the bin folder. And then this is S3. Why is it empty? Okay, so there's stuff in this one. All right, yeah, apparently I'm missing a step, guys. We'll see what it says to do here. All right, so this is the guide that's in this folder. And I have the, what did it say, C3? I think that's what he said to do. Yeah, S3. So I have the S3 right there. So I've got this machine, my board apparently. Preparation, download the files, which I did. Wonder if it'll let me do it again. Okay, well there's a different Flash tools. Let me see if this is see if maybe this one has more stuff in it. Okay. Yeah. So far, this is confusing even me, guys. So, let's see what happens here. Develop. So figure below. Download path. Okay, this may require some a little more default. Maybe I just need to hit the default button. Not seeing it, guys. All right, so I guess I'm gonna have to play with that, and I'll just do a separate video later. That's bothering me. the directions, I'm following the directions, but it says step 1, download and unzip, select that. Step 4, download, unzip this file. What file? Okay, wait a minute. Apparently there's it's saying, all right, let me start over here. I'm going to start over while y'all can keep commenting or whatever, because I'm just going to play with this for a minute to see if I can get it working. I'm trying to follow the directions, but it's saying download and unzip this file attached. Let me see if there's an attachment I didn't get. Oh, wait, yep, there guys. That's going to be it. There's actually a file attached. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to save this to, okay, we might be able to make some headway now. There was a file attached to it that I did not see, thanks to the lovely Microsoft program I'm using. So I'm going to create me a folder here and save this in there. Okay, so it's going to be much simpler now. Now I can figure it out. So let's go back to screen share here. Let me get y'all guys back over here. All right, so we'll start over. Download. This is the flashing tool, and we ran that. And allow. All right, so my settings say to set it to ESP. Blow that up again. S3. What? Hold on. Select ESP32S3. There we go. Development, UART. Okay. All right, so download and unzip this file. All right, so now I got to go here, and I moved that file onto my machine files. So it should be, nope, I didn't ever cut it. Hang on. Machine files. Whew. I don't really want to do this a whole lot. I mean, wait a minute. Crap. That whole permission thing with my, all right, we'll do it this way. Well, that didn't do what it's supposed to. Okay, that's not, it's not looking anything like the directions that I've got for some reason, guys. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. Everything looks the same. All right, whatever. Oh, yeah, this is why I like not having to fool with firmware. I'll sit here and mess with it and see if I can figure it out, but it's not looking like it's going to be as easy as I was hoping. Because it says on the tool using the path files you extracted, which if I go to my downloads, where did I go wrong? Oh, there's where I went wrong. See, guys, this stuff's not always easy. Just word to the wise. Well, this thing's never had a problem with me. Okay, I finally found it. I got it figured out, I think. Let's try it again. All right, so I finally got this file. Somebody forgot to unzip it when they moved it into that file location. So I'm gonna click that one, and then I'm gonna go here, and I'm just following the screenshot they sent me. The next one I need is the bootloader. All right, and then the next one is gonna be initial.bin. So, and then the next one would be partition table.bin. Not sure what the red means over here. I need to check all of these. All right, got them all checked. So I look just like the screen does. And so I'm going to click the default because it's saying click the default, but that's not doing anything. I feel like I need to be connected to the machine right now. But let's see. Plug up the USB port to the computer, press and hold the button, then tap the reset button. I don't even know where the reset button is. Let me find it, guys. All right, I believe it is in the correct mode. I'm going to go see what port number it assigned it. And to those guys that are always looking for port numbers, this is where you get them. So it's not on 3. Let's see, 9. I think it's going to be 16. Pretty sure it's 16. Oh, I pray it's 16. Let me unplug some stuff. All right, I unplugged everything that's not being used. Oh, this is scary to me because I got so many machines hooked up. All right, I'm gonna unplug the algo, replug it up, that way I can confirm for sure which connection it is using. All right, I was right. It is 16. So let me plug it back up and get it reset. All right, so now I got to get it to come back on. Oh, I had to hit the emergency button. All right, so 16. 16's repopulating. We're gonna get through with this in a minute, guys. How many of you gave up on me so far? All right. All right, so port 16, and I I guess we just hit start. See what the machine's doing. Still doing that random flashing, so we'll see. Doesn't appear to be doing anything, guys. Let's see if I missed something. Select the figure, 5 points above, image. Erase. Oh, I'm supposed to hit erase? Oh, I hate to hit the erase button. All right. Then click start. Okay, what are these? Oh, this is killing me, guys. Okay, y'all have seen enough of that. This is frustrating. I'm having trouble following the plug your USB port to computer, press and hold the button, then tap the reset button. I haven't seen a reset button yet. Let me look again. Oh, there's a reset button, but you can't, it's behind the cooling fan. So let me see what happens. All right, so I hit the reset button. Now what? A new port will appear. I've already got the port. Oh, Lord. All right, I'm about tired of this. I'll have to go back and go through this again. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong because I don't have to tap the reset button for the port to appear and for it to open up. The machine actually opens up to where I can see it as a drive, and it's named ALA 1. So I'm not sure what they are, but I will take that firmware that they sent me and do it the old school way, the way that this online showed me to do it. Copy it in there. Trying to get it back going here. All right, so let me just copy that over to this directory, and that's what it said to do in the original README file on how to do it. So we'll try it that way too. What's up, Galen or Gale? All right, so I'll show you. I'm gonna try the old school way, the way that this is the way the website shows to do it, and it says copy the algo firmware AL whatever to disk to upgrade. So when you set this thing up and you hold that button in, it turns into a, well, it did. Where'd it go? It turns it into a drive. So we're going to close all this stuff out and just try using that and see if it does. All right, so that, well, it popped up. So that should activated the little file. So now what I need to do is go into where I saved that file that they sent me. And firmware updater, ALA. It says copy that file there. And basically place it on this directory. So that's what their software says to do. So we'll see how that works. And the software is there, so let's let's give it a minute and see what happens. But well, the light's flashing white again. That's a good sign. Hang on, I'll show you guys. Uh-oh. What happened to my, my overhead camera ain't working, guys. I must have unplugged it a while ago. But it's actually flashing white, so that's a good sign. It hasn't been doing that. Let me launch Lightburn and see if we can communicate with it now, because it would not stay powered up. If I went through all that trying to reflash it and all I had to do was drop it in that little, that's Algo Laser Alpha, COM port 16. I'm afraid to power it down or anything. We'll give it a minute and see what happens. Okay, it powered off itself, so I'm not sure if that's a good sign or not. So let me go see if I can power it on, see what happens. Nope, same result. It's gonna have to be completely flashed. I'll have to take time to figure that out. But yeah, Jim, I'm about, you know, I get aggravated with these things sometimes, and I try not to lose my patience, because once I figure it out, I'm okay. But it can be a real doozy trying to figure it out, especially some of the softwares. Looks like I need to feed some machines. Give me a minute. So, let me get my machines back going. Like I said, the cool part about the X tool, I'll give it that, is you just hit that button on the front of it and it starts back. thinking a lot of these little guys for the handles. Those ain't big enough to do nothing with. All right. Back going. All right, let's see what I missed. Oh, y'all done got quiet on me, guys. Everybody went to sleep during that whole escapade with the firmware updater. I probably would have too. I probably would have also there. So, but yeah, that's working on these darn machines is about all I'm doing tonight, and I was trying to get the algo back going. I really wish I could, but and they did offer, algo did offer that they would download, they would do a remote session and fix it. I really don't think it's going to come to that. I really pray that it doesn't. So I will. I'll continue to try to push through this thing and see if I can figure out how to get it to do it. But yeah, it's really having a hard time. Well, how did the mirror come out there, Chris? Bobo said he's experimenting with some tumblers and some Brilliance ink for the 10 watt. I guess that might be part of their video they're going to have tomorrow night. All right. I can't give up on this, guys. I guess I'm just glutton for punishment. I'm going to wind up, like somebody said, I'm going to wind up taking a wrench to it. But I'm really, it's really bothering me that I can't get this thing going. What's up, Phil? How are you? Yeah, it's really on my nerves that I'm having a hard time fixing it. Wait a minute. Hold on. S3. Wait a minute. Stand by. S3. Okay. All right, I've got all those loaded. But yeah, the steer, is that steer 12 or steer I2? I don't guess I've heard of that one. Huh. Oh, the L2. Okay. The Aitzer L2. Yeah, spell check got you there, Richard. It put steer in the place of Aitzer. So that kind of threw me for a loop there. Go pretty well there, Mexican Game Boy. I guess, all things considered, I'm letting this algo laser driving me nuts. But, all right, it's saying, let me try. I'm going to try it one more time, guys. I can't quit. All right, so it is now connected. This book is showing do it as a QIO, quad read and write mode. DIO is dual read and write mode. Well, let's see what happens when I do this one, like it says here. 40 hertz. Default. Okay, well, it moved to default. RPG for the extended range for the L2. I'd have to check, see if the extended legs work. I think I've got a set of them over there, but I think they're smaller. I think that, yeah, I think they come down to a point. I might can look into try to modify that, Richard, but I'm a little slammed right at the moment, so it might be a little while before I can get around to it. Sorry. All right, so it's not detecting anything. I think that's my problem here. Yeah, I mean, if it's working and you're not having any problems, Mark, I mean, there's really not a need unless they add like a functionality to it. You might want to read the update notes and just see what it does. And if there's something that you really would like to have, then go ahead and go for it. But always keep your old firmware just in case you need to roll it back. All right, it's not saying here to hit the reset button. Let me go back to my email. Surely they got me the right directions. You talking about, well, are you talking about, which H are you talking about, the L2 or the L? Oh, I don't have you're talking about the L2, aren't you? Or the L36. I do not have the extended legs for that. So I don't know that I'd be able to help you on that one. Unless I can get my hands on a set of them. Select, download, replicate the settings. All right. I'm going to try to 0x 0 x. Okay, I'm having to put these settings in here too. Okay, maybe that's what I was doing wrong. I've got to actually put this hex code or whatever this is in here for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we got that part done. COM port 5 is erase. Erase. Okay. Oh, I may be making progress, guys. All right, and once I hit erase, I should hit start. I'm not seeing anything. I wonder if surely my permission access is denied. Okay, guys, I figured out what the problem is. I'm gonna have to turn off my active shield for a few minutes. So I'm gonna pause my active shield for 10 minutes here and try this again. So I need to hit erase first. And start. Maybe that was what was causing it, who knows? Permission error, access is denied. Okay, let me move that file to a different location and try it that way. Oh, this is aggravating. So now it's a file permission. I am trying to update the algo laser. I had a bit of a problem with the firmware, and they sent me the stuff to do it with, and I was thinking it would just be an easy fix, but so far it's turned out to be quite challenging. I don't know if it's me or what, but it has. So I'm going to change this folder because it's saying that it's got some permissions that are causing a problem. So I'm going to change the folder, and bootloader's next. All right. Then I need the initial, and then in the partition table. All right, so I got all those going to my downloads this time. I had to put these hex whatever over here, and I didn't have anything in this earlier, so that's a good sign. And see, now I've got a green light here, so hey, this is looking like it might work this time, guys. And so now I need to hit start, and let's see what happens. Let's see what's happening over here in the command prompt window. Okay, it's actually doing something now, guys. Whoa! We may be fixing to bring it back to life. If this thing comes back to life, I'll be happy. This is a really good machine. And I think me holding the button down too long the other day may have caused the problem. So it's obviously doing something now. I did have to turn off my active shield protection from my virus software. You have to do that a lot with a lot of this overseas stuff, and just user beware. I mean, yes, it could expose me to a virus, but I use pretty good little virus software. So in 10 minutes, when it reinstates on the computer, if there is a virus or the software tries to do anything, it will block it again. So looks like it's probably it's probably erasing right now, because it didn't do anything from the start. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it just did a sync. So we'll give that a minute. We'll just talk, and we'll go back in a minute and see how it does. So once this thing gets through, once I hit start and it does its thing and it finishes, according to my email, it should fix my problem. So if it's the firmware, if the board hadn't went out in it. So we're gonna let that run and see. Somebody at 40, you got 40 degrees. 40 degrees is not good, guys. I don't know who y'all talking to. Gary, no, if I restart my computer, I will lose connectivity with you guys. But no, there's no need of me restarting my computer. Hopefully this will be done here shortly, and I can go and see if the algo will reconnect. Oh yeah, y'all hit the thumbs up button if you're in here, guys. I mean, I know we're not doing a whole lot, but just chilling. But this is what I do. 40 thumbs up. Hey, if you don't want to hit the button, I don't guess you gotta. I don't like pressuring people, but it is fun when I get them. And I gotta go get me something to drink out of the refrigerator, guys. It's Friday. Had to get me a root beer. My weekly kidney treatment. Oh. $30 degrees. Vince, go to your closet, get your suitcase, pack it, and get the heck out of there, man. That's too cold. That is too cold. Whew. You been helping me, E.T.? Yeah. Hey, well, you know, we got the stove covers done, got those stained, so and it's still progressing on the command bar down here. I'll show you. It's still progressing, so it's doing something with it's doing something with the machine. I'm not sure what it's doing. We may be doing it in, but if nothing else, maybe we can. Brian Woodward, is that Brian? Like Brian? Signed in differently, or what we got on? 10% root beer. It's actually apple cider. I have a weakness for apple juice. And well, I appreciate you stopping by, Brian. Like I said, you can smash that button there. Richard Frank Henderson, family in Prattville. Yeah, that's, I'm about a 20-minute ride from Prattville. Not far at all. Oh, the longer has finished again. I'm about ready to swap it over to engraving. All right, I'm gonna swap the longer over and let it do the engraves. I've had it doing that third piece that I had to trim off of the file for it to fit on the small pieces of wood, but I've got quite a few more of them than I do the front two pieces now, so I'm gonna put it back to doing the back pieces, the front pieces. And there we go. So, should be good. And it's still, I don't know if it's erasing. It must be erasing because it's saying sync over here on this download panel, guys. It's saying sync. It started saying sync when I hit the erase button. And this almost looks like it's erasing it. So I'm thinking that's what's happening. I think we're still doing the erase function, but because we're doing it through USB and everything, it's been a little slow. So just gonna wait around, see what happens, and then if that works, I'll hit this start button here in a minute, and maybe it'll fix my algo laser. Richard, I work mostly during the day at my day job, so I'm not usually around except weekends, and I stay pretty busy. All right, everybody's still working, so we're good right now. Yeah, Mark, I don't know. It's a good machine. I mean, it's a powerful little 20-watt machine, no doubt. And it was doing a really good job. And then I'm not sure what happened to it, to be honest with you. I went to power it on, and I don't know if I held if you hold the button down so many seconds, it goes into firmware mode. And I don't know if I did that or if, I don't know. Something happened. I had noticed the night before, though, that it would get to where it wasn't, like the laser wasn't engaging. So I'm not 100% sure I didn't have a controller failure. But I cleaned the lens and put it back together, and it went to working. But the lens wasn't dirty when I took it apart. So I'm not convinced that it wasn't suffering from a little bit of failure the night before, and you know, just finally kaputted on me. But I want to try this first and try the software fixes. If software fixes don't work, then I'll start looking into maybe it would be something with the hardware, and we'll look into that. But it's still doing something, so I don't want to touch the machine. The light's still flashing on the machine, and I still got the progress bar going over here on the command prompt window. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing and hang out and chill with you guys. Had to cast your TV. Yeah, well, get you a tablet. Those are better, or a laptop maybe. But I feel you. I can't hardly watch YouTube on a phone. I mean, I can, but it does get a little small after a while. I don't have a very big phone. I have this guy, so it's kind of hard to see sometimes, especially if you're trying to look at the comments. So usually I'll watch it on that TV while I'm out here in the shop working. That's where I watch Ventari's workshop at, right there, and Hobo, and everybody else that I watch. All right, just 6 away from 100%. Well, that's, I mean, you know, I don't have a little thing that I can put up there for the thumbs up, but y'all hit the thumbs up. But who is the best Fortnite player I know? I have no idea. I mean, my daughter plays Fortnite, so I guess she'd probably be the best one I know, because I don't really know any Fortnite players. But I have no idea. But let's see here. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns, guys? Or are we just going to sit here and just chill? I would put some of these things together, but like I said, they're classified. I don't want to show you guys what they look like. I'd get in trouble. But, hey, good job, E.T. Good job. Well, there's actually, I'm showing 61 on my end, but a lot of those are probably coming in through Facebook and other avenues. So, but yeah, if I've got enough to match what's coming through on YouTube, that's good. But now, guys, I've got, like I said, I've told you all about it before. I've got the Atom Stack A24 over there. As soon as they give me the rest of the parts, I'm going to be doing a review on it. But I'm waiting on the air assist that goes with it, the honeycomb and all that, to keep from having to do, you know, multiple videos. And this little blue guy right here, which is a 10-watt diode, but it's a Galvo, I've got to do a video on it. I'm going to try to get this one at least knocked out this weekend. I'm still waiting on the parts to come in for the other one. So, but hopefully I'll get this little 10-watt Galvo diode done this weekend and get that out of the way. Later, I also have now got the riser for my S1, and I need to do a video on it since I put the riser under there. But I've had the machine working so much on this project that I haven't really had time or had the machine available to be able to do it yet. So, working on that. Well, Robbie, I appreciate it. I hope you learned good stuff and not the wrong stuff to do, because I do mess up stuff. Speaking of which, this thing is still going, guys. According to the screen, it's still just chunking away at the update, it looks like. But the instructions did say wait for it to finish, so we'll see. The algo's getting after it. I mean, the longer's getting after it. So everybody's still working, guys. So I got to reload these yet. But well, Robbie, I appreciate it. I try to put out decent content. I won't say good content, but I try to put out decent content. But sometimes people don't like my flavor. I don't. No, it didn't say how long it would be. It just says the exact directions say, I'll read it to you, how they've got it worded. And keep in mind, now this is probably being translated, but it just says select erase, step 7, click start, wait for the firmware to finish. Once done, unplug USB, power, and power machine. This should fix the problem. And if I have any errors, send them a screenshot and they'll look into it. So we'll see. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lose my patience if it runs too long. Hopefully it won't go too long. Chris, I don't know that she's going to do that. She might. If she does put it out there, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it's a cool little project. like I said, she kind of had me going at one angle, and I wound up reinventing the machine or the tool and rebuilding it. So cool, Terry. Yeah, it'll. Like I said, and I said this earlier, and if you weren't in here to hear it, but I know after I released the file for the mirror frame and engraving the mirrors, it was brought to my attention that you know, the We Create can't cut out the frame because it's a little bigger than the work area, as well as the S1, because these fully enclosed machines are kind of sticking to that 12-inch work area. So what I have done is I have ordered myself a box of 10-inch mirrors, which will allow me to have, you know, an inch or two to play with to be able to resize my file and release it for 10 or 12-inch mirrors. And I think there's some 8-inch out there, but I don't know if anybody would be interested in the 8-inch mirrors or not. So I'm just going to take, when those get here, they're ordered from Amazon. I'm going to retool the file, make whatever adjustments I need to, and I'm going to drop it in the folder with the other mirror frame, because it's basically just going to be a modified version of the one I've already made. So I don't feel right charging for two separate files when I'm basically just taking the one file and resizing it. So if you've already downloaded the file, then you'll be able to go back in there and get the additional file, hopefully. If not, I'll have to be sending a lot of Google links. And I don't like doing that. That gets busy. Oh, this thing is still going, guys. We may be here all night watching these little dots go across the screen. I got a whole bunch of these little dots though. Like, it's been going for a minute. Yeah, ET, and that was kind of where I was. I mean, I used the We Create to do the mirror, and then I used the Acer to cut out the frames. So because I could actually cut, you know, a couple of the pieces for the frame in one burn on the Acer because it's extended. So that was a little bit of a time saver. I think I cut a few of the pieces in my small enclosure on the, it was the Algo at the time. But the Algo is still just dot, 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 and I'm not sure what to do. It's not giving me much direction on the little app over here. But it's still just a running. Look at this. I'm still getting dots, and they seem to be going a little faster now. So maybe that means we're getting closer to the end. We'll find out shortly, I guess. But I do wish they'd have told me if it takes longer than, you know, so long, start it over, because this could go on for days. I could use my other mic now. But when I walk over there, y'all won't be able to hear me. Yeah, if you want to put it in an enclosure, you better get you a big enough enclosure to put it in before you go to extending it, because it will not fit in a standard enclosure. Get a 5-watt. Well, Robbie, as far as, I would have to say, generally speaking, if you've got a 5-watt and you go to a 10-watt on most jobs, whether it be cutting or engraving, it's going to be maybe like a 25% increase in job time, maybe. I mean, that sounds about right. It's not going to double like what some people lead you to believe. It's not going to necessarily double because with a 10-watt, you will be able to engrave faster than you could in a 5-watt, and you won't have to make as many passes. So I'd say probably between 25 and maybe 40% faster, depending on what the design is and the power settings and everything that you run. But in order to get the full potential from that machine, of course, you're going to need to do power settings and do some test burns and try to pick the fastest speed that you can and have the desired effect in order to really be able to use all that. Robbie, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you can find one that's in your budget, I would try to go to a 20 watt these days. You will definitely see a big you will definitely see a big increase if you go to a 20 watt. And a 20 watt is kind of like, that's kind of the most versatile machine as far as I'm concerned. You can do cutting with reasonable speed, reasonable thicknesses. It still does a really good job at engraving with detail. And a lot of the 20 watts, especially like the longer B1 20 watt, the Niji has a couple of 20 watts. I mean, the Creality, there's a Sculpt Fun S30. There's a lot of machines out there that are 20 watt machines that are really, really economical if you don't want all the bells and whistles. And of course, you've got the X tools, you've got Acer, the Atom Stack machines. Some of them are actually coming down in price. But you might want to just look out for a sale and see what's going to be on sale and what fits your budget. But remember, you're going to need also honeycomb, enclosure, air assist, and all that for an additional machine, unless you plan on retiring the 5 watt that you have. Well, Brad, I'm not to a stopping point yet. I'm still waiting on these little dots to finish, and I got to go over there and count how many I got stacked up. But y'all can see I got a lot bigger stack than I had the other night. I finished the night out the other night. I had almost 30 of them done, and I've got to do 100. So I should be getting closer. I like to think I've done about 20 tonight. Well, Robbie, if you're not wanting to, if you're on a budget, you're not wanting to spend a lot of money, but you want a decent machine. Like I said, Sculpt Fun and longer make some really budget-friendly machines. Atom Stack now has a new A24 that's coming out that I'm fixing to review that appears that it's going to be fairly economical. I don't know that it's going to be as cheap as a Sculpt Fun or longer, but there's a lot of decent machines out there that if you don't want the autofocus and you don't want, well, actually the Sculpt, I don't remember if the Sculpt Fun has auto air. I think it does, but I know the longer does. The longer B1 actually does have automatic air assist, and it's not terribly expensive, especially if you stay at the 20 watt level. Now, when you start jumping to 30 and 40 watt, of course, the price is going to increase fairly good bit. Woo. Man, I'm putting these diodes to work, guys. I'm telling you, look at that stack of material over there. It's crazy. I got to clean those, and yeah, it does look long, Chris. And I'm just trying to be patient and let it wait. Let it go. See what it does. The Rotary, I've heard good things about the Rotary, but I can't confirm that by my experience. So that would be my only thing. Is I've heard people say that it's a good machine, people that I trust, but I can't say from personal experience. Oh, I hit the start button again. I got impatient and it started over with the dots. Oh, God. Oh, look, it started all over. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to be here all night. I'm just going to let it run. I'm not touching it again. Not touching it again. Not going to touch it again, Chris. I'm gonna let it run. I might should have popped the SD card out of it before I did this. I don't know what size SD card's in that thing. It may be doing a zero. It may be doing a 0 file set on that SD card as well. I have a toolpath set, to outside vector, yet I am getting 20 millimeter square ending up with squares end up, well, wait a minute. Hang on, I'm trying to read it here. Well, let me ask you this, Chris: is your vector that you're doing, is it a pocket, or is it just a line? Because if you're doing outside and it's a pocket, that should add thickness to it, I would imagine. Ends up 46. 16. Chris, it sounds like maybe, I don't know, unless your steps are off. Is that possible? Have you checked that? I mean, like I said, I am a rookie when it comes to working on CNCs because I haven't had a whole lot of trouble out of mine. But, I mean, it's basically the same as the laser. So, unless the steps are off and it's just, maybe you need to add a little bit to it. Have you tried just, Kentucky windage and add 2 millimeters to it and see if it comes out right? Loading the machine, guys, loading the machine. No, ET, the next time I fired mine up, it was actually pretty close. I did have to update the software I was using, so I don't know if the software update fixed my issue with it being off or what. But the next time I used it was on that mirror video, and I checked it before I started engraving, and it was actually really, really close. Close enough that I didn't want to try to adjust it. Yeah, Russ is saying that Amazon still has the P20 on sale with air assist and extension for $649. That is a good deal right there. Yeah, Clang, I've heard good things about the Rolly, but yeah, William sounds like he knows what he's talking about there, Chris. He said maybe you didn't put the right bit size in there on your design. And that would make sense. Ed, I have played around with it on a couple of jobs that I needed to do that were like too big for any of the other machines when I had a job going in my big enclosure. But the problem I have with the Niji using it a lot is I actually have to just open the door and blow smoke everywhere because I do not have an enclosure I can fit it in. And if I'm doing a big job, which I would be usually if I'm using it, it smokes up my shop. But it still works. I still do use it and occasionally, but I got so many guys that I rotate them out. I would like to do another project with the Sculpt Fund, but I can't fit it in any of the enclosures either. So that's the problem. They won't even fit in enclosure of Zilla. The Niji or the Sculpt Fund Ultra will fit in there. The Ultra is too wide, and the Niji is. I mean, I could probably fit the Niji in there if I took the. I might could. If I took my 8s out, but I'm usually using the machine, so. Well, Chris, I don't know, dude. Like I said, I haven't had to do a whole lot of troubleshooting on my CNC, but I don't know. And all I do is if I want the square to be, and I'm doing a pocket or whatever, and I want the square to be the same size as the box, I usually tell it to do it inside the cut line. So like I said, I am way less experienced at CNC stuff as I am lasers, because the files that I put on that are just files that I've built, and I'll cut out, while I'm in here working, I'll set it up and run 4 or 5 Christmas trees or whatever. Well, Dale, I've thought about running it outside, but I don't have a USB port out there, and I don't remember if it's wireless or not. That's part of my problem. But yeah, Richard, the Acer V35 right now is in the enclosure. I've got the P20 still hanging on the wall right here above my monitors, in case the Acer goes down, or if I have a long engrave I need outside of the enclosure. Because if I'm doing like a tabletop or a bar or something like that, like a bar top, I can't really use the Niji because I had to put it on that piece of MDF. So it's really only good for stuff that will fit in between the rails. Whereas I've got my P20 hanging right here, and I've got the S30 Ultra over there. So if I'm doing if somebody brings me, a countertop or an island top or something like that and wants something engraved in it, then I can just take one of those machines, slap a jig to it or square it up with the whatever I'm putting it on, clamp it to it, tape it to it, and burn it that way without having to pull something out of an enclosure. What is the next show that I'm going to be at? I don't really have any events lined up until the spring. There's rumored to be, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't got all the details yet, but there's supposed to be another meet and greet at Pedals from the Past that I'm probably going to go to. It's not going to be an event where I'm selling, but just an event where I'm going to be there meeting people, handing out stickers and ink pens, and may try to do another laser giveaway at that meet and greet. I don't know. We'll see how it goes between now and then. I'm also thinking about, other things that I can do for that event, but we'll see. Oh, looks like the X tool's done. Let me go change it out. I really do like that button on the front of that machine. That's the one thing that I will say, they did right with XCS. I don't like having to push it every time, but I do like pushing it when I'm reloading it for another batch. What rotary? Guys, I am particular about my rotaries, all right? I've got a X-Tool RA2 Pro. Matter of fact, hang on, I'll get it. Just got this in the other day, all right? This is the RA2 Pro. I don't have an issue with the RA2 Pro. It's a decent chuck. Works fairly well. It's built for X-Tool, so obviously if you have an X-Tool, it's going to work with your machine. You're going to have directions that tell you how to make it work with your machine right here in the little book. So if you're an X-Tool person and you're running XCS, your best bet would probably be to use X-Tools. chuck slash rotary. Now, because it comes with all the stuff you need, including the cable, the book's set up, the instructions are there. So if you're using an X tool, probably not a bad idea to use the X tool RA2 Pro, because it will be a lot more easier to set up. There's a lot more information out there and all that. But if you're running light burn, it really doesn't matter what chuck you use. You can make any chuck work with the machine as long as you have the appropriate cable. And if you're running anything other than an X tool, my favorite is the Acer or Atom Stack R2 kit with the chuck, because it's just massive. So yeah, guys, the RA2 will work with other machines. Like I said, you got to have the right cabling and you got to set it up correctly. Klein has he's got a couple of rollers that I've had, and he's also used a RA2 Pro. I have used the RA2 Pro on longer machines, Sculpt Fun machines, Atom Stack machines. As long as you have the right cabling and you know how to set it up with steps and everything, it works fine. Me personally, I like my Atom Stack or Acer chucks just because they're bigger and they're heavier, and to me they're just easier to set up because you don't have to have an actual chuck key. You can do it with your hand, and it just makes it a little easier swapping stuff out. So I prefer to use, when I can, on my other machines, definitely I would go with the Atom Stack or the Acer. But if I'm using an X tool, then X Tool's native chuck rotary, the RA2 Pro, would probably be the best bet to, especially if you're not comfortable with setting those things up, or if you're just going to be running it in XCS. All right, guys, it's been like 2 hours and 15 minutes. I have kept you guys tied up. And I really need to be putting some of these things together. So I guess I'm gonna have to let y'all go so I can keep that Maymay's secret. Let's see. What is your best advice as far as sales? As far as sales, if you're talking about like just selling stuff in general, like doing jobs in your shop, one is marketing yourself. Getting the word out there is the biggest hurdle that a lot of people have trouble with. I started out, basically, I started a Facebook page, which at the time was Clack Custom Creations, which is a mouthful, but I started out that way, and I was just doing projects, and more or less it was just my brag page. Like, I would be like, hey, look what I made here, this thing's cool, and I'd post a picture of it. Well, then after a few people saw it, I'd get a message, hey, how much would you charge me to make me one of those? And so I started, really just making them to have fun. I tried to figure out a price that was competitive, but yet, was easily marketed in my area as far as the price. And I'd be like, I don't know, $20, $30, $50, whichever. And so then I would make that person something, and then I'd take a picture of the one I made them, and I'd put it on my page. And it just sort of spun up from there. I never really put anything on Marketplace. I just did it as a private page, and then it just continued to spread. And guys, since we've been in this live, I've seen 3 messages come through from local people wanting to know if I can engrave something for Christmas, which unfortunately for them, they've missed the rush because I am about booked up from now until after Christmas for sure. So I'm sending a lot of people to Klein right now and keeping him very busy. So that's kind of how I got it started. But then once I started making a little bit of money, I started doing a lot of giveaways. Like I would go to businesses and I'd give away, engraved coasters, or maybe an engraved mirror that had their business logo on it or something like that. And just word kept spreading until you know, I'm probably going into 3 years since I started that first Facebook page now, that, you know, like I said, I had to turn down work. I don't have enough time to do all the jobs that I have. I have customers that order from me every week, and they book most of my time. So anything else that I do, I just have to squeeze it in where I can. So yeah, I don't charge a deposit because I only deal with local people around me, and where I'm at, it's not a big problem. If I get burned, I may change the way I do things, but most of the time, the people that I deal with, I either know them or are friends with them, and most of them know what I do for a living. So I haven't got really burned on any projects yet. Not to say that it won't happen. It could, but so far I haven't. But yeah, it's just learn the market. Go into, like, you know, hobby stores. If you've got any, like, kind of like flea market style places, and you know, just look at what's selling, find out what's selling, look on Etsy, see what's selling, what's hot. Local Facebook groups, especially like Marketplace. You can go on Marketplace a lot of time and look at and see what people are putting out there that's laser engraved, and you know, get some ideas from that. But just each market's going to be slightly different. Each price that you're going to be able to get away with is going to be different, and it's just, it takes a while. It's not going to be, nothing's going to be instant. If you're looking for instant, then good luck with that, because I don't know how to tell you to go from making nothing to making a bunch of money. I don't know how to do that. It took me, like I said, it took me 3 years to get to where I could actually sell enough stuff that if I wanted to go buy me another machine or another sander because my sander broke, that I didn't have to, like, you know, stress about it, because now I can actually go, you know, I get a check in for a project. I can, you know, order more materials and order a sander, or, you know, saw blades, more stain, whatever, and not have to worry about, you know, bouncing checks or having to save up for 3 weeks. But it takes a while. But anyway, guys, it's 2 hours, 18 minutes, so I'm going to call that long enough, and I'm still waiting on these little dots to go away. But my wife cooked some lasagna, and I know that there's a nice hot dish of lasagna in the house waiting on me. So I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you stopping by. I did put links on the YouTube channel to my Facebook page, as well as Etsy shop, Amazon, and I also put a link in there to Steve's YouTube channel, Ventari's Workshop. And for those of you that are new and don't know, Steve is my buddy, and we work together on a lot of things. He's really knowledgeable about the lasers and lasers related things. He also sells replacement lenses for the machines, so he's a good guy to know, and he has a YouTube channel, and I put a link down below there to let you guys link over to him. If you haven't already, let's see where he's at, because he's trying to make 10,000 by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure he's going to pull it off, guys, but it would be awesome if he was, like, right there on the edge of doing it, and we could, like, push him over the edge. So let me see where he's at. He's at 9.89. I don't think we got enough votes in here to do it, but yeah, Steve is trying to make 10,000. So if you haven't subscribed to him, guys, go over there and hit that subscribe button. And that way we can get him on up there to that 10,000. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, by all means, guys, please do. I myself have set my personal goal to reach 20,000 by 2024, and I'm at 18,772. And I need your support. I need your support, guys, to get 20,000 in 2024. So so. If you haven't subscribed, go do that, guys. Go do that. But everybody have a good weekend. Take care. As always, be safe. Have fun, but be safe having fun. Don't, you know, no fires, no injuries. And somebody asked me about that one. That's the SaneSmart 4040 Pro. It's right around 400 by 400. I think it's actually like 430 by 400, but they call it a 4040. With the big router on it, it's closer to 4040. So, but yeah, I got some videos on the SaneSmart. If you want to go to my channel, search content, search for CNC keyword or SaneSmart, and you should find my videos for that machine. It's a decent little CNC, does a decent job for a starter learning CNC. I've made quite a few projects with it and enjoy it, but I do have plans to one day, when I can come up with the cash, get me something a little bit bigger. But until now, I've got some files I made for that guy, and I use it. But anyway, guys, be safe and have a good day. Later.